Hello, everyone, and welcome to this audio podcast. This audio podcast, as part of a Machina edition, this audio podcast, as part of a Labostix Biome, this audio podcast, as part of a Quantix broadcast, this audio podcast, as part of as part of the abstracts in this Machina, as part of the abstracts in this Machina edition, and this audio podcast as part of a Storm Robotics production. In this audio podcast, looking at the abstract in regard to works, in regard to works as in regard to works regarding relating to works that had been peer reviewed and published in around 2017, and also in regards to where the abstract where the abstract had been put forward for a presentation, also in 2017. So the abstract looks at hemolytic uremic syndrome, or Haemolytic Uraemic Syndrome (HUS), clinical medicine versus clinical anatomy. The abstract is as thus. Uh, Hemolytic uremic syndrome, or HUS, occurs due to sugar-like toxin activity through aberrant complement activation. HUS is typically classified into two primary types. Number one, HUS due to infections, often associated with diarrhea. Where there's D positive HUS and sugar toxin producing Escherichia coli, or Escherichia coli uh, like Escherichia coli like or relating HUS, with the rare exception of HUS due to severe disseminated infection caused by Streptococcus, and two, HUS related to complements such as HUS, which is also known as atypical or sort of unknown HUS, and is not diarrhea associated, thus D negative HUS, or D negative HUS, and also referred to as AHUS, meaning atypical HUS. Clinical features include proteinuria, renal impairment, and history of E. coli diarrhea, E. coli and sort of diarrhea, where in amongst where sorry in amongst literature is and has been evidenced as hallmark of a typical HUS. Encephalopathy is rare but can cause death. HUS is seen increasingly following outbreaks of infection with virotoxin or VT producing organisms. It represents a growing public health problem, and data suggests that more awareness of specific microorganisms causing diarrhea and those thus leading to HUS and or HUS relating symptoms may become more important in prospective health amongst health amongst healthcare consultations where recipients or patients are diagnosed. E. coli 0157H7 is the most commonly notified VT producing organism in the UK, and in parts of Europe. And clinical manifestations may vary from an asymptomatic infection to a sort of a bloody sort of diarrhea, hemorrhagic colitis, and HUS. Virotoxin and enterococcal VTEC associated HUS was seen or has been seen in up to around 20% of recipients in recent in outbreaks, mainly affecting pediatrics, or children. And either hemodialysis, for example, or peritoneal dialysis treatments is essential when renal function is altered. It is crucial to also to see that arterial blood pressure, or ABP, is controlled, and thus preventing or precluding any longer term complications. Red blood cell transfusion, or RBC transfusion, in children or young people is common, or has been common, owing to anemia and fraction frozen plasma (FFP) has been administered in has been evidenced and sort of documented, and amongst to add additionally, it has been documented and evidenced in amongst the literature, where young people initially diagnosed in ped years and then go on into adulthood have been will have had or may have had fraction frozen plasma (FFP) in as part of treatments and in amongst where young people sort of transition with particular conditions around HUS and transitioning into adults adults and or adult renal sort of services. That draws this audio podcast to a close. This audio podcast is part of an Machina edition. This audio podcast as part of a Labostix Biome. This audio podcast as part of a Context broadcast. This audio podcast as part of the abstract as part of the abstracts in this Machina edition, and this audio podcast as part of a Storm Labostix production.